Definitely everybody's pushing.
The whole time.
Doesn't matter
the whole
where
30, no matter where you're at.
Doesn't matter where you're at.
Dead last, and there's someone behind you.
Lap time lines. You guys take momentum lines.
This moto, right?
Yep, 20. 20. A little shorter, higher intensity. Then we'll come back and do some sprints. Everybody. Reed hung in there for a while. You had some really good corners. 15 minutes, you make it to, and then it's okay. Keep paying your dues. You'll get there. Good speed though in the opening. Justin, good job too. You guys hung right in there. 201s, 202s.
You know, the opening round is one of the more interesting rounds of the championship because of where it sits in the calendar. It's the first round of the Pro Motocross Championship, but you have some riders who have been Supercross heavy all the way to the very last round in Salt Lake City and maybe have dabbled in some of their motocross prep, maybe have snuck in some 30-minute motos here and there, but for the most part, they've been heavy indoor, tight, technical Supercross riding. And then all of a sudden, the switch flips, and they got to go outdoors, and that's what makes Paula so hard for so many of the riders. They're having to rely off of their talent, their youth, their lifelong experience, and not their more current breath. It's now the 8th year for the ClubMX team, and if you look at the trajectory of the team, it just keeps going up, up, up. And every year there's growth, there's additions, there's new successes, and the team has definitely grown outside of that privateer talk. You hear people in the media or fans talking about how, wow, that's not a real privateer team, that's a factory team. Well, it's not the reality. The reality is that we have outperformed the support that we get, and it's not to say that the support isn't good. The support is what allows us to be as competitive as we are. When you put all of those things together, all those pieces, great partners, a great vision and a great goal, and you got riders who are all very one-track mind when it comes to accelerating their career and shooting higher than they currently are. When you put that all together, you're going to have success. And that's what ClubMX has done now for 8 seasons straight, and the expectations continue to rise because the results continue to rise. And that's the hope for this summer, is for Max to take that next step and be the best he's ever been. It's for Coty to dive right into the gnarliest 450 class maybe we've ever seen and be one of those boys and battle each and every week. And for Alex, it's to be the first true ClubMX amateur product to turn pro and go and bang bars with these pros and fight his way to a 15th and maybe then get to a 12th and then maybe get a top 10 this year. All those things are possible. We can accomplish all those things because everyone is in alignment. Everyone wants the same thing, and there's no dead weight on this team. Everybody's
Well, really gnarly. The second one, where it like just runs all the way down it. Yeah, they dug it deep there, and it's just like soft, sticky blade through there. It's gnarly. The layout's not bad though. I feel like it's better than it has been in years.
I think that'd be more racing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I didn't see you take any bad lines. Just like the first downhill, you're probably the only one carrying second down that. Maybe third. They're probably shifting right into the corner after the little kicks. I think that's why you get a little of this rear end dance. It's just, it's revving. But the other downhill was so slow, it doesn't. That just is what it is. Yeah. Nobody did anything special, but I think for just the revviness of the bike, you kind of ride it like a 250 a little bit. You gotta kind of carry the gear high and then wait late and then downshift and then just smooth the corners. And even when you get on it, maybe not.
the riders that went late into the Supercross Championship and was having his most successful races later in the year, in the later part of April, and that's because the focus was still so heavy indoor. And he did make a good transition to motocross, but if you look at the calendar and the time that he had, it wasn't a lot. And you also have to take into consideration that he hasn't raced motocross for a long time. He missed all of last year, so he had to kind of reacclimate himself to motocross and to the high speeds and the long motos on a bike that he wasn't used to on outdoors. He's new to the team this year, while also taking into consideration the handbrake that he uses, that he did have a long time to get ready for it in Supercross, a lot of time to try things and test it out and kind of work through the quirks, find where it's good, find where it's bad. But in motocross, he didn't have that time. It was a quick transition over. So for Alex, who is very, very strong, excels more when things are tougher and he has to be grittier, it's like he finally landed in the place he's always belonged, which is in the Pro Nationals. He spent the last 2 years racing in the amateurs against a bunch of kids his own age and on tracks that maybe weren't developed like a pro track. But the challenge for Alex is acclimating to a whole new world.
It got slower as your practice went on when the outsides got cut in, and now the insides are back. So those main lines yesterday that were chattery are there, but they're not so shitty. They're kind of nicer. You can just roll in and then build an exit. The rollers, now you go inside, kind of jump in.
I did it last lap. Yeah. I'm not going outside anymore because as soon as it started blowing out,
So like Max, Coty had a unique challenge going into the opening round at Fox Raceway, which was the transition not only from Supercross to motocross, but also from the 250 to the 450. And he has 450 experience outdoors. He's had some great results. He rides the bike great. His style, his temperament, his grit, his toughness definitely screams 450. He's going to be a great 450 guy all summer, but he had to make some quick transitions over. He was riding Supercross up until the last week at Salt Lake City and was really focused on ending that season strong, so he didn't get that extra month to really get used to the outdoor speeds, get used to the 450. Let's see what happens when we get 2-3 rounds into this thing and he gets more comfortable, gets a little stronger, gets more used to the bike, and relearned that motocross speed that he missed for a year. I mean, I think there's a lot of good things coming from Max this summer, especially once he gets that time. The ultimate goal for Alex this year is 22 motos, 70 minutes a day, learn as much as possible, do the best that you can, and come home with things to work on.
5 easily.
You did. You're fourth fastest guy on the track most of the race, but you give so much up in the beginning.
Dude, I feel like I have like this much left on the table, like just endless. Like I just need to feel comfortable on the bike.
And now you're still way ahead if you just manage your opening lap.
Yeah.
Like when you got to halfway point, Max, you're almost matching Deegan. You're 1 second off his pace, and that you're actually third or fourth fastest every lap. But it took so long to close the gap to that group. And then it turned into a dogfight, which slows you guys all down. It's really that opening lap. You're gonna have to be aggressive until it's single file. It's like you gotta fight for every spot.
It's not even like that moto was too easy. You know, like I don't even come off the track breathing hard. Well,
That's good.
yeah. But I feel like that's why like I should come off the track maybe a little bit. You know, because that like I feel like I just can't get to that push level.
I didn't know what line take, and I was like just, honestly, every lap I just playing with the rods. And first moto I know is going to be hard because like I didn't know where to go, and I didn't know the pace and everything is new, and I was like, but right now, to the end of the moto, I was like, oh, I can't hold 35 minutes good. So next moto I'm going to push way more hard.
It out, we'll loosen up next time. The opening lap was good, 2 laps were good. And then was it just arm pump from that point on?
Just overthought, or overthinking, and
Just being with those guys?
yeah.
Well, you got that out of the way, now you gotta get over it. These guys, dude. You're one of them.
Oh yeah.
You either gotta believe it or not. You make the choice to believe it, you'll relax, you'll ride with them, you got the speed.
Yeah, better pace than that.
Great start.
Got a better pace than that.
Oh yeah,
that's I know I can do it. I just gotta work into it. Feels easy. Everybody would do it.
start. I was in where I ended up finishing, but Masterful came down the hill, that first hill, and the ruts came together, and he just slammed me, and I almost fell. And then
6th, and then we ended up 13.
Yeah, that was what happened.
And then you pushed
Everyone
back.
blew my doors off. Right
You were ripping. Just.
I had early moto pace for sure. I was doing like 22s on that rough track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bike setup was better, but when it got hot at the end, it kind of started struggling. So it was like good in the beginning, struggled at the end.
But you had enough on Casey.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised Casey was strong enough to really put it down. He must have been motoing because, you know, he's more of a smaller guy. He hasn't raced a lot. But yeah, I was surprised at how in shape he was. I was trying to catch Levi at the beginning, and I closed a little bit, but then we were about the same. It's so hard to go faster, you know. We're all
They
doing
said
about.
something happened with his bike.
Yeah, he came in that corner, and I don't know what happened. So at least I got that spot. Yeah, hard moto. That one was definitely tougher than the first one.
12-10.
Yeah, 12-10 for night.
So overall, was it worse? Was it better? Was it something that you were just like, yeah, like I wasn't expecting that for your first pro race?
Definitely everybody's pushing.
The whole time.
Doesn't matter
The whole
where
30, no matter where you're at.
Doesn't matter where you
at.
at.
Dead last, and there's someone behind you trying to.
The battle for 25th was Smith, Fortner, and J Mart battling for 25th.
You know, we talked about Hunter Lawrence just responding right there. A lot of riders don't have that ability.
It's just like, yeah, but
only after the crash.
yeah. And I was in last already.
Yeah.
There's no sense of me endoing off something.
No sense of getting hurt over it.
I was like, I felt way more like myself that time.
All right, well, I'm going to rob the data off of it and see what it says. If it's something electrical that's just cutting in and out, we'll still have to trace and find out what it is. But we'll get you sorted.
You got 10 more races, dude.
TGO, baby. I just went over the smallest double and ended. Nose pick straight to my head, and then the bike just collapsed on top of me. And then we split, and the bike was laying sideways in the middle of the track over a double, and barely doing anything. So then I'm just waiting for everyone to go by, and then I get up, my grip's all up. I have like no front brake, and then 3 laps later, it starts spinning and sputtering. And I wasn't gonna risk. So it's from my crash. But I started off way better. Way like myself. Yeah.
You can't not stop pushing. You have to keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing.
Well, you can check that box. Look out to the next one.
That's good. Mid.
He says mid.
Like, you are too, man. Like, you can't downplay yourself.
You want a boy or girl? Or?
You're just as good as those guys. You just have to tell yourself that when you're out there.
Oh, you're done with 3.
You know, you were used to racing in 3.
The prep for Hangtown is going to be absolutely brutal. We're looking at the weather app, and it's just screaming hot temperatures. Regardless of the prep during the week, regardless of the conditions, it's an all-in program. Everybody here is all in every single week because everybody on this program is one-track mind when it comes to giving it their all, and everyone has a goal, everyone has a dream, everyone has the same vision, and regardless of the situation, we're going to get there.